Welcome back. You're watching BBC Breakfast. Now, alcohol consumption and a reduction in physical activity are contributing to higher rates of bowel cancer among young people in the UK, according to new research by a leading cancer journal. The Annals of Oncology study predicts that bowel cancer deaths in people aged between 25 and 49 in the UK will increase by 26% in men and rise by 39% in women this year. That's compared with results from 2018. Now, researchers say that key contributing factors include being overweight and other health-related conditions. Now, researchers also called for screening to be offered sooner. Currently in England, those aged between 60 and 74 are screened, with plans to roll this out for everyone when they reach 50. The study recommends that bowel cancer screening starts at age 45. Well, here on Breakfast, we followed the campaign led by our friend Dame Deborah James, who worked tirelessly to break down taboos and educate everyone on how to spot the signs of bowel cancer.
Hello, I'm Deborah James, otherwise known as a Bowelbabe.
So I was pulling blood and eventually got diagnosed with a 6.5 centimetre tumour. It makes me feel utterly loved. But it makes me feel like we're all kind of in it at the end together, and we all want to make a difference and say, you know what, screw you, cancer, you know, we can do better.
One thing that I wanted to do before I passed away was to set up the Bowelbabe Fund. We will ensure that more people have access to personalised medicine, clinical trials, cutting-edge technology to help more and more people live longer with cancer.
We are joined here on the programme now by Sharon Williams, who was diagnosed with bowel cancer in 2015. Morning, Sharon. Morning. Thanks so much for talking to us. You know, as I just mentioned, obviously the recommendations here are that, you know, people should be checking younger than we previously thought. Just tell us what happened to you.
Well, I was one of those busy people who ignored symptoms, so I'd got bleeding from the bottom and just thought it was piles. And I think it was one of those promotional things on television that eventually made me go to the doctor. And I'm glad I did, because I'd got bowel cancer, but it had also spread to my liver.
And how old were you at that point?
I was 48.
Wow. Which is younger than we tend to think as being at a risk age. Yeah.
So even if the testing at 50 wasn't soon enough, you know, well, it wouldn't have helped me then either.
And Sharon, how long do you think you had waited from,
Frighteningly, I think it was probably more than 12 months. It was a long time. So, so not good, is it?
It's not good, but what is good is nearly a decade later, you're here. And how are things? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, because they keep finding more treatments for me. You know, that's what's wonderful. The teams will find something. They're always looking in the back pocket for what they can do next, because a treatment might work for a time and then it might stop working, and then they say, right, now we'll try this, and then they'll try something else. So, yes, so I'm on maintenance treatment now because of where things have spread to. But, you know, I'm very hopeful that they can just keep me going.
So given the length of time, then, that it took for you to get diagnosed and for you and the doctor to realise what was going on, do you
the doctors were brilliant. I have to say, the minute I went to the doctors, I was very quickly seen, I was very quickly diagnosed. And the sad thing is that it was me having not gone quick enough that meant that it wasn't a great beginning. But, you know, they've really looked after me, and I've been very, very well looked after.
That's good.
Do stay with us, Sharon, because we're going to talk now to Naser Turabi from Cancer Research UK. Morning to you. A really an interesting lesson to learn there from what Sharon has been telling us. How important is it that everybody who's watching this morning is very much aware of what they should be looking for?
Yeah, it's crucially important. Bowel cancer is one of the most common cancers in the UK. And when it's caught early, the prognosis is actually quite good. So at stage 1, there's about 10% survival after 5 years, whereas at stage 4, stage 1 is 90% survival, and at stage 4 it's 10% survival. But if you spot the symptoms and you get to your GP early, you should get a referral. and it can be caught. So look for signs like blood in the poo, unexplained weight loss, and for more details, do go to the Cancer Research UK website. But what we're seeing now, though, is that services are under quite a lot of stress. So general practice is under a lot of pressure, hospitals are under a lot of pressure. But it's really important that people don't wait at home with symptoms. Do go to your GP. At a younger age, though, it's actually quite unlikely that it will be bowel cancer. Only about 5% of cases are from that younger 25 to 49-year-old age group. So although this study does find or does project an increase in bowel cancer deaths from that younger age group, it's often a much smaller number. So people shouldn't be too alarmed, but people should be vigilant about symptoms and also be aware of their own family history. So when they go to their GP, if there's a family history of cancer, they ought to tell them.
Now, so why has there been this increase over the last few years of bowel cancer in younger people? Can we tell?
So the authors of this paper do speculate, but the honest answer is that we don't know. We know there are many modifiable risk factors for cancer generally and bowel cancer in particular, so whether that's being overweight or obese, alcohol consumption, smoking, stopping smoking is absolutely the best thing you can do for all cancers. But we still don't know the answer about why we're seeing this increase in the UK, but for this younger age group.
Sharon, so sitting here this morning, you might have not started on this treatment in the best possible way. I know you're frustrated with yourself and maybe not going to the doctor quickly enough. But sitting here this morning, what's the message that you want to share?
Well, it's absolutely what you were saying. If you've got any symptoms, if you've got a change in your bowel habit, if you've got bleeding from your bottom, don't just assume it's something. Get it checked. Get into your GP and get, I think it's called a fit test, that will give you a little pick stick. It's not very glamorous. You have to put poo on it, but that could save your life.
Do you think, so, when you were first concerned, what was it that stopped you going to the doctors? Were you afraid at any point? Were you frightened about what you might hear?
No, I think the thing was I wasn't frightened because I thought it was just piles and everybody gets piles. And I was a busy primary school teacher who hadn't got time to go.
And was it in your brain as well, thinking, I'm only in my 40s, so it can't be bowel cancer, that tends to be older people? It
never occurred to me. It never occurred to me that it could be cancer. And that's why I just went on my merry way. So I think now people just have to be cautious and get checked and yeah, don't end up like me.
Yeah. Naser, Sharon, they're talking about the testing, the little kits that you get through the post when you get to a certain age. I think is it over 50 or something, over 55?
So, yeah, in England the screening age is from 60, but they're trying to reduce that down to 50. And the reason that they haven't reduced it yet is actually capacity of services, so the capacity of hospitals to do the colonoscopies. But we do know that if we reduce the age, and we also reduce the threshold for referral from that fit test that Sharon described, it's really important that the government invests in services to enable that reduction in the age range.
We should be sending out those little test kits to people in their 30s, 40s now, or?
No, there isn't evidence that would actually improve mortality. The lower the age range, the more risk of actually harm, because actually it is still very, very unlikely that it is bowel cancer, but sending people for unnecessary colonoscopies creates huge risk in and of itself. And there are many other things that we can do, like just making sure, for example, there's enough genetic testing capacity, making sure people can access their GPs easily, and also making people aware of the signs and symptoms of cancer too.
Naser Turabi from Cancer Research UK, thank you very much indeed. And Sharon Williams, thanks so much for coming and joining us and spreading that message, and we wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with the treatment.
Thank you. John is here with us.